For my humanities project, I went to the Varsity Theater and watched the movie Maze Runner: The Scorched Trials. This is directed by Wes Ball, and it's the second movie of the series. The series is basically about survival of teenagers in a post-apocalyptic world where there's a disease called the flare, and it turns humans into zombies, basically. There's an organization called Wicked, which is running tests on all these teenagers. Like in the first movie, they were put in a maze, and their task was just to get out, which was seemingly impossible. But they do all these tests just to try to find a cure, and they're like the antagonist of the series, but in like retrospect, they're actually just trying to save humanity. But after the escape in the first movie, the second movie picks up right after that, where the main protagonist, Thomas, which is played by Dylan O'Brien, he and a few of his companions from the maze, because they don't all make it out, but a few of them make it out, and they're rescued by some unknown group of men with guns, and they claim that they're there to save them and bring them to safety, and they bring them to like this big warehouse, and they tell them that in a few days they're going to ship them off to like a safe zone, basically like a farm for teenagers who are immune, just to keep them safe and away from all the chaos and apocalyptic events. Well, after a while, Thomas goes adventuring around the facility, and he finds that they have not actually escaped the Wicked, but they're actually in Wicked's den, and that they're taking all the blood from the survivors of the many mazes that there were, and they're harvesting their blood and trying to find a cure that way. Instead of actually just drawing a little blood, they're actually killing all the teenagers, just trying to find a cure. So after he finds this out, him and some new friends he met from the other mazes and his former companions escape, and they're on this journey to try to find this resistance called the Right Arm. And on their way there, they run into a gang, and the gang's leader is a man named Jorge, and his daughter actually end up helping them try to find this right arm resistance, because they help them and tell them it's in the mountains, and they also go with them after their base is attacked by Wicked. Then basically after that, they go find the resistance, and another main character in the movie, Teresa, who is played by Kaya Scodelario. I'm not sure how that is, but played by her, and her acting was really not that impressive at all. It was basically like a wannabe Kristen Stewart from Twilight. That was probably the worst part of the play, was actually watching her act. And actually, most of the actors weren't that great. But she ends up betraying all her friends and telling Wicked of their position so she can secure her safety. And that's basically the end of the movie, because they have a big fight at the resistance base, and Thomas and some of his friends manage to stay away and to fight them off, but most of the survivors are taken back to Wicked. But at the very end of the play, Thomas has a short speech whenever everybody's trying to find out what they're going to do next, and he basically claims that Wicked's never going to stop taking teenagers, and they're never going to stop their terror, so he's going to go stop them and kill the leader of Wicked, which is a doctor named Ava Page, who claims that all she's trying to do is just save humanity. And that was probably the highlight of the entire movie. Like, the movie had a bunch of, flashy, like, adrenaline rushed action, but it resembled the first movie way too much to me. It just seemed like a copy, but just a different setting. And the acting in the movie was probably the worst part. Like, the reason this series has success is the main character, Dylan O'Brien. Like, he plays Thomas, and he's the best actor, and the other ones are kind of painful to watch. They're either corny catchphrases, or it's just they do not fit their role whatsoever. And the worst one is probably the wannabe Kristen Stewart. But the Maze Runner, it's it's a successful series because of the storyline, and it has really famous books. And also, Dylan O'Brien basically makes this series famous. But other than that, it leaves a lot to be desired, such as a plot change that's not very, I guess, obvious. Like, I probably could have guessed what was going to happen each step of the way. And also, actors need to either step their game up or they need to find new ones, because that was a big letdown. But other than that, it was a great movie, and there will be a third one because at the end of the movie, one of the minor characters, Vince, which he's the leader of the right arm, asked Thomas what the plan would be to like strike back at Wicked, and then the movie just ends. It gave for a good dramatic effect, but overall, good movie, not good acting, but I'd still recommend it.